Hello everyone and welcome back to Macro Day here on Scriptcase by Jamie. Every Friday right here for Macro Day where we go over the best of the macros or all of the macros. So today we are diving into a little known macro that is incredibly useful for getting a handle on where you are within your grid's data. So the data that is displayed within your grids, because sometimes it can be a little overwhelming and confusing. It's like having a little counter running for each row as Scriptcase builds your page. I'm pretty sure you know what I'm talking about. So today's star macro is the SC_sec register. So there we have it, the SC_sec register with curly brackets around that baby too. That is also required. It is, however, today not showing up. And well, I just want to get on with the video. So as I just said, we are diving into the SC_sec register, and you may be wondering what the purpose is of this little macro. Well, it returns the sequential number of the current record being processed within a page. So it is a key basically, and it starts counting at 1 for the very first record on that specific page. So we will have a look at that in a few moments. So that is the page, of course, you will be viewing within a grid application, and it's not just all about counting all of your records within that beautiful little data set that you have just got running, but rather about keeping track of where you are in the current batch of records that are currently displayed. I hope I made that one clear. Now, we can have this little helper do some work for us. So if I come back here into my samples, and let's find here a grid application. So we have here a vertical grid. Let's go with the horizontal grid. And if I run that, we have here a horizontal grid that we can use. Okay, so we need a grid for this to work, and that's the only place it will work its magic basically. And the event we are looking for is the onRecord event. So that is very important. It is only this event, I'm afraid, so not much of a scope going on really. Features, but yes, this is actually very functional and a very nice little macro that we can use throughout our applications. So it is important to keep track record of your current batch records, as I had mentioned, so keep that one in mind. Now we can then use this now here within this grid application, and it's going to perform its little magic, and it will make perfect sense because on the onRecord event, which we need to use, is where Scriptcase now processes each and every individual row of data that we have within our grid application, giving this macro that we're going to use the opportunity to do its work. Okay, so within the onRecord event, we can then just go ahead and apply, for instance here, the SC_sec and register macro, and let me close that up. And then what I'm going to do then is say, for instance, we have a total field and total, and we can then say, for instance, with that let's then also take if, for instance here, if our sc underscore sec underscore register, and if that, for instance, or if that equals say 10, then we're going to say, well, here our total field, or our, let's give it say sum total, and that will then equal, for instance, our total field, like so. Okay, so I need to create then these two fields, sum total and total, and if I save that now, let me then come here, go new field, two new fields, and sum total and total, and then here I can just create that and then go run, and then here scrolling over we should have then here our values, which we don't have here yet, so let's double check that. Total equals our value. Let's remove that and just run with just the total for now. Right, so total, of course I spelled the register wrong, didn't I? So that would always help. So I hope somebody else noticed that. Did somebody else notice that? So let me go ahead and run that again, and then there we go. That should be functioning now. So we have our total, and then once we hit our 10th count basically for this macro or this event within our grid application, our row of data, then we will start having 10 applied into the sum total field. And we can see that there. Now, that is, of course, a very common scenario showing maybe a total on a specific row. So in this case, on the 10th row. And well, it's, you know, it's pretty awesome, I guess. So you have a few common cases where you can use this macro because it is in fact super versatile for these grid applications to enhance them, to maybe display row numbers, because you can just literally echo out here the sc sec register, and then you have a count of all of the IDs. You could basically use that as an ID essentially for your application, which is kind of cool too, you know, and highlighting maybe specific rows. So, you know, every 5th row, that's how we, you know, we can use this macro to do that. And also maybe to trigger specific logic that you have within specific positions of calculations, maybe, or markers. Well, there's quite a few options where you could use this. So for the grid application, this is in fact a very powerful macro. And well, of course, there are a couple more examples for members only over on the Scriptcase by Jamie video channel. Be sure to check that out, or become a member, of course, so that you can also have some more examples of using this awesome little macro. But otherwise, there are a few important notes that maybe I should mention here. So the counter resets on every page, which is important to note because, you know, you'll be in one massive grid application with a ton of pagination going on, and well, it starts counting from 1 again. Okay, so it's for that current view of data that you have within the grid in that moment in time. So of course, if you change it, then the count will reset itself, right? So it only works also within the onRecord event, so that is also a downside. So it would be nice to have this maybe functional for other applications, which would be pretty cool, but it is as it is. So what else is there? Global row numbers maybe across various pages. Yeah, if you need a continuous count across maybe your entire data set that you just gathered, then yes, maybe you want to combine the sc sec page with that one, but that's a different macro, right, for another macro day. But that is all for today, and of course, now I hope you have found your row counting sidekick for the grid application, which can of course be full of strangers, so this can maybe help you count them out. And whether it's just doing a little line item for totals or counting the beans within your, you know, platform, well, this is the one that you want to use. It will be very handy for you to, well, perform those calculations maybe Okay, so if you found this video helpful, you know what to do, and otherwise, thank you very much for watching. Let me know in the comments how you have used this macro in your own projects, and if you have, well, if you have used it at all. So otherwise, I'll see you next week Friday for another macro day right here at Scriptcase by Jamie. And don't forget, if you're a member, check out the members, well, check out the other video channel, because there will be an extended video for this macro. So thanks again, and until next week Friday.